Okay, so I think let us start with this afternoon session, which is on developing interpersonal relations at workplace. Okay, thank you participants for confirming, and I hope that you had two wonderful sessions in the morning also, which were on important topics. And now coming to yet another important aspect. Can you think of why this topic is required to be discussed? That to be a good manager or to be a good leader, we have to have good interpersonal relationship with the people at our workplace. Because I think you will all appreciate and agree with me the present scenario of interpersonal relationships, the kind of society which has emerged today. I think my observation is that interpersonal relations are deteriorated. See, with the technology, we are connected to the world, but I think we are going away from the families. See, four persons sitting in a room, busy on their own phones, not talking to each other. Parents also working, get tired. They also need their personal space to relax. And with the other people also, I think with the social media, those silent messages, not even in full form, I will say GM for good morning or GN for good afternoon, TC, take care, such kind of things, not taking the hassle to meet the persons face to face, so not interacting with each other. So this is the scenario in personal life. So what to talk of workplace when there is no close association between the colleagues because of their professional jealousies or the competition or maybe ego sometimes. So we can think of the kind of relationships we have at our workplace, but all the on the other side I will say those are very important if we have to work with people as a team. I think that teamwork and the interpersonal relations, they are closely related to each other. So today we will discuss about this important aspect of our life, whether it is your personal life or it is your professional life. I think we need to maintain good relationships with the people around, because we cannot survive without these relationships. Just like in personal life, we have our loved ones for our good times as well as our bad times. Similarly, at workplace also, we need to collaborate and work in teams to complete a project, as we cannot do all the work alone. So when we constitute a team, we look for the people with whom we are compatible, but it may not be possible every time that we have all the persons of our choice. But then there is no escape, we have to work with them. So why not to develop compatibility with them? Why not to ignore some of the things which we do not like in them? Because if you will try to find a person like you, I think you will not have any friend for life. So in this presentation, I would discuss why these relationships are so important and what you can do to improve your relationships with your colleagues and the others at workplace. See, one of the most distinctive aspects of human beings is that we are social beings. These interpersonal relations are and have been the core of our social system since the dawn of civilization. See, human beings are social by nature. Since childhood, I think we have learned, we have read in our books that man is a social animal. So we are all surrounded by people, communicating with each other all the time. The connections we build with others, they are very important for overall physical, emotional, as well as mental well-being of a person. See, moreover, think of, if we are working in isolation, I think we will be more prone to stress and depression. So for managing your stress, I think one of the important strategy is that build connections with people with whom you can share your problems. So even I think that during COVID times, we came to know the importance of relations in our life. Initially, it was fine, family time, cooking together, sitting together, watching TV together. But I think after some time, when it prolonged for a few months, we all wanted to go out and socialize with our friends, with our neighbors, with our colleagues. So work from home started making people feel depressed now. Students were depressed because of not meeting their friends and their classmates. So these relations play a very important role in our life. So what is all this? What is interpersonal relationship? See, interpersonal relationship is a strong bond between two or more people, refers to as the interpersonal relationship. See, it may, this kind of association, it may vary from a brief introduction, means I meant to say a brief acquaintance with a person, to a relation which is a lifelong relationship. With some people, no, we just have a small acquaintance, ki thoda sa परिचय hai, just hello, hi, hai. But then we have other relations which go for long life. But these interpersonal relationships are very important for human life as they teach us who we are. They give us a sense of purpose and direction. These relations have a great influence on our life because from a very young age, people around us influence our personalities and our value systems. See, what we are today is nothing but the accumulation of our past experiences and the people whom we interacted with. Is that so or not? Do you agree with me or not? And similarly, interpersonal relationship at workplace constitute the day-to-day interaction between your colleagues. So your performance depends on the ability to effectively interact with your superiors, your subordinates, and your peer group within the organizations, and maybe the students, their parents, and the general public at large. So we come across various types of relationships during our lifetime. It could be personal, it could be professional, which have tremendous impact on the human mind and the personality. The first one is your family members and relatives. See, relationship with your immediate family members and relatives means individuals related by blood, maybe parent, child, or siblings, or maybe you develop relationship after marriage, let's say husband, wife, or relationship with your in-laws, relationship with your grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunts, maybe some caregivers and guardians. So these are the first relationships we ever form. We often have close ties to our family members, and these bonds last a lifetime. But I tell you that parent child relations are the relations that influence the whole human life. Your psychological, physical, all sorts of development, that is social, emotional, moral, cognitive, educational development, means the whole personality of the child depends upon the parent child relations. So interaction with our family members is equally important from the point of view of the development of child's self-esteem, self-confidence, general social adjustment with the people, and emotional maturity. After this, the relationship come with your peers and classmates. See, right from the beginning, child interacts with the peers and classmates for substantial time every day. This interaction gives an opportunity to the child to explore more about social interactions, ways to deal with variety of problems, and his or her own status in the group. The real meaning of the cooperation, competition, and compassion, I think, that are understood in this group. The next one is your relationship between friends. See, while it is said you don't get to choose your family, but you do get to choose your friends. You can make your friends according to your own choice. Some friendship become even more important than the family connections. And these days, so I think it is all the more true that we have better relations with the friends than the family, because friendship is an unconditional interpersonal relationship where individuals enter into by their own sweet will and choice. जिसके साथ अच्छा नहीं लगता तो हम ज़्यादा देर तक कंटिन्यू नहीं करते. So friendship is a relationship where there are no formalities and individuals enjoy the presence of each other. Then comes the social relationships. So this association may be based on your, let us say, regular business interactions, relationship with your neighbors, or some other type of social commitment. Maybe you are a member of NGO, you are a member of certain club, or you develop a relationship at the places of worship. So those who are involved in some social work or charity, they maintain huge social interactions and are respected by the community because of the more social recognition. Then as a teacher, the teacher-student relationship, I think this is one of the most important social interaction, as it is associated with not only motivation and academic achievement of the student, but also with his or her aspirations for future, his future plans, confidence, uski self-worth. If a teacher who tries to maintain free democratic atmosphere in the class, never snubs the students on asking the question, maintains good relationship with the students, I think that will create a conducive environment for the students' development. If a student is not capable of developing good relations with the teacher, I tell you, he or she will try to avoid the teacher. He or she will develop disliking for the subject and may feel inferior in the class. The next comes is the professional relationships. So individual working together in the same organization or people working in the same team, they are said to share a professional relationship. They are called as colleagues, because any individual spends maximum time with the colleagues. If the relationship is pleasant, it helps the individual to be comfortable in the organization and work peacefully. If not, the workplace becomes unpleasant due to the atmosphere. See, in organizations or industry, I think most problems are the people problems. So when we solve our people problems, our other problems are substantially resolved. See, for industry, people knowledge is more important than the product knowledge if you interact with them. So, because successful leaders are not the ones who are knowledgeable in every field, but are those who reach at the top having good team of people with them. They have the ability to get the work done from others, and to achieve this they build pleasing and the magnetic personality, which helps them to get friendly cooperation from the others. So I think mostly I have covered all the relationships we normally come across during our lifetime. But I tell you, human relations are very complex, so very difficult to maintain them. Let us go through some of the factors which affect our interpersonal relationships. Sometimes we are not able to have good relationship with the people. I think these are some of the factors which affects. The number one is the compatibility. We always like to have friendship with the people, those who think like us, so that we are able to connect better with them. So two individuals in a relationship must be compatible with each other. There should be no scope of conflicts and misunderstandings in a relationship. And it has been seen that individuals from this similar background and similar goals in life do extremely well in the relationships, because they have this same kind of belief system and the value system. So people with different aims, different attitudes, different thought processes sometimes find it difficult to adjust and hence fail to carry the relationship to the next level. The second important is the communication. See, communication plays an important role in all types of relationship, whether it is your personal or professional, because feelings must be expressed and reciprocated in relationships. Individuals need to communicate with each other effectively for better understanding. See, do not stay mum, as it leads to more problems and misunderstandings. You must interact with each other on a regular basis through various modes of communication, because staying in touch is very important for the relationship to grow, especially in the long distance relationships where individuals cannot meet quite often. But today in digital era, I think there are so many communication channels through which you can interact with the people. Similarly, in professional relationships as well, colleagues must communicate well for a better bonding. Sit with your co-workers, discuss issues face to face to arrive at the mutually acceptable solution. The next most important is the honesty. For any relationship, I think be honest. Do not lie or hide things from your partner, from your colleague, from your friend. See, remember, every problem has a solution. Transparency is important in the relationships. Stay calm. Do not overreact on small things in relationships. Stay calm. Be a little more adjusting. If there is some conflict, I think be the first one to say sorry. It will solve half of your problems, because being rude will spoil the relationship. Forgiving nature. See, an individual needs to be little more forgiving in the relationships. Do not drag the issues unnecessarily. Fighting over small issues is not desirable and makes the situation all the more worse. Smile. As it is said, smile is a curve, but that makes everything straight. Flash your smile more often. It works. Take care of your facial expressions while you are interacting with the other person. Time. Time plays an important role in the relationships. Make the other person feel important by giving your time, because every relationship needs time and individual's effort to grow. See, today parent child relationship, I think, is suffering due to the lack of time. So individuals in relation must spend adequate time to know each other better, because relationships come to an end where people do not have time to meet or interact with each other. So even in organizations, individuals must spend quality time with their co-workers to strengthen the bond amongst themselves. Reciprocate. See, वो कहते हैं ना कि life is an echo. You get back what we give. So when you are good to others, you are best to yourself. So whether it is your thoughts, your actions, or your behavior, sooner or later they return, and with great accuracy. So treat people with respect on your way up, because you will be meeting them on your way down. See, goodness has a way of coming back. That is the law of nature. One does not have to do good with a desire to get back. I think it just happens automatically. So when it comes to praise or appreciate others, do not hold back the applause. If a co-worker has done something for you, maybe big or small, appreciate, no matter how small. Thank them for it. Praise them in front of others by showing others how much you care about them. You will encourage them to do the same in return for you, and they will give you their best. So next, coming to the, as I said, the role of communication is very important. See, communication is the basis of every interpersonal relationship. In fact, effective communication is the key to a healthy and long-lasting relationship. If individuals do not communicate with each other, problems are going to be there. But what happens in actual practice is, जब कभी भी हमारा किसी से कुछ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, सबसे पहला काम हम क्या करते हैं? We stop talking to each other. और जब हमने बात ही करनी बंद कर दी है, तो जो भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है या जो भी सिचुएशन है, तो सोल्यूशन कहाँ से आएगा? तो सबसे पहला है कि हमें कम्युनिकेशन जो है बंद नहीं करनी चाहिए. कम्युनिकेशन प्लेज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल in reducing the misunderstandings and eventually strengthens the bond amongst the people. So because the relationship loses its charm if individuals do not communicate. A healthy interaction is important for a healthy relationship. It is not always that an individual needs to talk to express his or her feeling. Feelings can be expressed through non-verbal modes of communication as well. your body movements, your gestures, your facial expressions, your hand movements also communicate something or the other. So make sure that you do not make faces at others. You should look happy and contented for the other person to enjoy your presence. Do not always look sad and irritated. Do not bring your personal tensions at your workplace. Eye movements also have an important role to play in relationships. So one can make out whether you are angry, unhappy, or frustrated through your eyes only. Another important in communication is take care of your tone and pitch, especially at the workplace. Make sure you are not too loud or too soft. Being loud might hurt the other person. Speak softly in a convincing way. The other person must be able to understand what you intend to communicate. Choice of words is important. Think twice before you speak. See, remember, one wrong word can change the meaning of an entire conversation. The other person might misinterpret you and spoil the relationship. Be crisp. Express yourself clearly. Do not try to confuse the other person. Being straightforward helps you in relationships. Regular interaction. An individual must interact with the other person regularly for the relationship to grow and reach to the next level. Speaking over the phone, sending an SMS are the ways of communicating and staying in touch, especially I said in the long distance relationships where individuals hardly meet. Be polite. See, never ever shout on your partner or any of your colleague, even if he or she has done something wrong. Discuss issues, try to sort out the differences amicably. Abusing, fighting, criticizing spoil the relationship and in worst cases might end it as well. Listening to the other person's point of view. See, try to understand the other's point of view as well. Be a patient listener. Unless until you listen carefully, you will never be able to communicate effectively, because we normally do not listen to understand. We listen to react and become judgmental about the others. So individuals can also communicate through emails. If you do not get the time to call your colleague regularly, at least drop him or her a mail. The other person would feel happy and important. Emails are also an effective mode of communication at the workplace, because for better relations at the workplace, try to communicate through the written modes of communication. And also in that, be careful about the mail body and make sure that they are self-explanatory. Using capital letters in mails is considered to be rude and loud. Do not share any information with any of your fellow colleagues verbally. And mark him a mail. Do keep your boss also in the loop, so that all the related employees must be marked a CC. If discussed orally, the other person may refuse later on, creating problems for you. So role of communication, as I said, is very important in the interpersonal relationships. So coming next to why interpersonal relationships are important at the workplace. Why do employees need to be cordial to each other? See, I give you an example because you will appreciate that opportunities also come in the form of humans. See, 20 years, 30 years back, there was one directional growth, that you study, go for a government job, or maybe do a business and start growing slowly. Less scope, less competition, less growth was there. But today, multi-directional growth, more scope, more competition, more opportunities, and more growth is there. So everyone wants to explore and grab more opportunities and grow fast. So for growth also, human relations are important, because your contacts, your networking, your trust, your social recognition is important for your multi-directional growth. Your network is your net worth. So an individual spends around 8 to 9 hours in his organization, and it is practically not possible for him to work all alone. See, human beings are not machines who can work at a stretch. We need people to talk to and share our feelings. Imagine yourself working in an organization with no friends around. Individuals working alone find their job monotonous. An employee who works in isolation is at more risk of experiencing anxiety and stress. They hardly enjoy their job and go to the work motivated. So it is very essential to have some trustworthy fellow workers around with whom one can share all the secrets without the fear of getting these leaked. We must have friends at the workplace who can give us the honest feedback and genuine advice to help us to improve. Second, why important is a single brain alone cannot take all the decisions. See, different problems require different solutions. So, in line with that, smart decision making is necessary. So, problem solving and decision making are usually better when they involve more than one person. We need people to discuss various issues, evaluate pros and cons of any problem, and reach to the solutions which are benefiting to the not only employees but also the organization as a whole. So employees can brainstorm together and reach to better ideas and strategies. And strategies must be discussed on an open platform where every individual has the freedom to express his or her views, so that they feel more comfortable working in the place where their opinions are heard and their opinions are respected. So when there is an effective interpersonal relationship in the workplace, I think making decisions will not be that challenging. Interpersonal relationship has a direct effect on the organization culture. सी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स अगर रहेंगे वर्क प्लेस पे, बहुत ज़्यादा कन्फ्यूजन्स हैं, मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग्स हैं, दैट विल लीड टू द negativity at the workplace and in turn will spoil the work environment. Although they might not be always avoided, but at least they must be appropriately handled. The next point is we need people around who can appreciate our hard work and motivate us from time to time. See, it is important to have some trustworthy colleagues around at the workplace who not only appreciate us when we do a good work, but also tell us our mistakes. We need those people to remind us that there is an opportunity in every mistake and there are lessons in every failure. So appreciation from others can make a people feel stronger and more inspired, because a pat on the back goes a long way in extracting the best out of an individual. One needs to have people at the workplace who are more like mentors rather than the colleagues. It always pays to have individuals around who really care for us. See how good one feels when you know that there is someone at the workplace who cares for you. We need colleagues to fall back on at the time of crisis, because there will be difficult times in life and we need to have someone at the workplace to help us, so that just like at home, we can feel more safe, secure and comfortable at the workplace also, if people around us are willing to offer a helping hand. If you do not talk to anyone at the workplace and अपने आप में ही रहते हैं, so no one would come to your help when you actually need them. An individual needs to get along with fellow workers to complete the assignments within the stipulated time frame. I think this statement reminds me of that example, that case study which we discussed in the teamwork, where Johan could not complete his assignment because of lack of teamwork skills. So an individual working all alone is overburdened and never finishes the task within the deadlines. So support of fellow workers is important. You just can't do everything on your own. Workload has to be shared. I think this we discussed in detail while talking about the teamwork skills also. So finally, in the nutshell, I will say very important must-haves in an interpersonal relationship is that individuals in an interpersonal relationship must share common goals and objectives. They should have more or less similar interest and think on the same lines. It is always better if individuals come from the similar backgrounds when you are forming a team. Individuals in an interpersonal relationship must have respect for each other's views and opinions. Sense of trust is important. Individuals must be attached to each other for a healthy interpersonal relationship, have a caring attitude, have a helping attitude towards each other. Transparency plays an important role in interpersonal relationship. It is important for an individual to be honest and transparent. So now let's go through how to improve interpersonal relationship at the workplace. First and foremost important comes again, the employees must communicate with each other effectively for a healthy relationship. Remember, a problem shared is problem half solved. So interact with your co-workers more often. Discussions must be an open platform where every individual can express his or her views and opinions. As I said, written mode of communication is one of the effective ways of communicating at the workplace. Make sure your emails are self-explanatory. Do mark a CC to all the related employees, because ignoring any one of your co-workers in the team might hurt him and spoil the relationship with the individual concerned. Avoid hiding things from your fellow workers. Every employee from a different team can also be your friends. Talk to them, greet them with a smile if they are not in your team or in your department. Say hi wherever you meet them. An individual must not take things to the heart at your workplace. It should be an open communication. Team leaders and supervisors should conduct morning meetings with their team members. I think this is a very effective strategy to start your day. Do not make the meetings too formal. The employees should be maybe allowed to bring their coffee mugs in your room. Let them interact with each other with the task in hand, because these morning meetings go a long way in breaking the ice among the employees and improving the interpersonal relationship at the workplace. Do not favor any employee just because he or she is your relative or you know him personally, because favoritism also spoils the relationship between superiors and the subordinates. I think Professor Rajkumar Ramakrishnan has raised his hand. Sir, yes, please, want to say something? Or you have done it by mistake? Please, sir. I think by mistake, maybe he has done that. So next is strategy to improve your relationships. Greet your colleagues on their birthdays or anniversary. See, you can make your colleagues feel special on their birthdays and anniversaries. Sending them a nice e-card or greeting them will surely make them happy. So these may be small acts, but surely can be a big part of their lives. They will remember such a sweet gesture of their colleague and may lead to stronger relationships. Such small initiatives go a long way in strengthening the bond amongst the employees. Important festivals can be celebrated at the workplace for employees to come closer to each other. Avoid being jealous. Leave your ego behind the moment you enter the workplace. Appreciate if someone has performed exceptionally well. Celebrate with the success of other. Show your appreciation when someone earns the achievement. We all have a different skills, different knowledge. Remember, only hard work and nothing else pays in the long run. Surely, a bit of friendly competitiveness is healthy. However, try not to take your colleagues' success too personally, but instead focus on your own professional journey. Being jealous does not help and in turn spoils the relationships. Do not treat office as your home. There is certain way of behaving at the workplace. It is essential to be professional at work. Never misbehave with any of your colleagues. Leg pulling, criticism, backbiting, I think is a strict no. It is better to avoid someone if you don't like a person, rather than fighting or criticizing him or her in front of others. Your office colleague can be your friends as well, but one must know where to draw a line, because too much of friendship is also harmful and spoils the relationship amongst the employees. An individual should not interfere in his or her colleagues' work. See, while allocating the work, I think team leader or the superiors must formulate specific objectives for all the employees and make sure job responsibilities do not overlap. Overlapping of job responsibility leads to employees interfering in each other tasks, and eventually sometimes they fight over small issues. So one should be concerned only with his or her own work rather than trying to find out what the other employee is up to. Give space to your fellow workers. I'm sorry, give space to your fellow workers. So giving space, in fact, is essential in all the relationships. Overhearing anyone else's personal conversation, I think it is strictly unprofessional. An employee must not open the envelopes or the couriers or the letters which are not meant for him. Such practices lead to, I think, severe displeasure among the employees and eventually spoils the relationship. Do not spread baseless rumors at the workplace. Even if you know something about someone, learn to keep the things to yourself. Discuss it with the individual concerned in private rather than publicizing the whole thing. See, organization has nothing to do with anyone's private matters. Pass on the correct information to others. If your superior has asked you to share some information with any of your colleagues about any of your colleagues, make sure it is shared in the desired form. Data tampering, manipulating, playing with the information, I think will spoil the relationships and will lead to confusions at the workplace. Do not share all your secrets with your coworkers. As I said, too much friendship is also sometimes harmful. You never know when they might misuse the information. Even if you do, make sure you are doing it with someone you trust blindly. Stay away from the nasty politics at the workplace. We see a lot of politics at the workplace, but do not try to harm anyone. It is absolute okay to appreciate someone who has done something exceptionally well, but avoid being jealous. It will harm you in the long run. There should be healthy competition amongst the employees for a healthy work culture at the place. So there is a lot of politics. Better to stay away from such situations. So let us go through the role of a leader in maintaining the interpersonal relationship with the team members. See, a team leader is just like the captain of the ship who has the responsibility of taking all his crew members along. For a team leader, his team is just his baby and he needs to take care of each and every team member. Never be partial to anyone. Avoid favoritism towards the employees. Interact with your team members on a regular basis. Make sure you speak to everyone, or else individuals might feel ignored. Call your team for the meetings at least twice in a week. Inquire about their well being. Ensure if everything is going well with them. This way, employees feel happy and they share a healthy relationship with the superiors. So, interaction is important for the healthy work culture. Team leader should not scold any of his team member in front of others. See, do not shout on any of your employees in public. It might insult him or her. Call the individual concerned to your cabin. Make him or her realize that about his or her mistake, and also without being rude. Speak to your team members directly rather than passing on the messages through someone, as information might not reach in its desired form, creating the misunderstanding and eventually spoiling the relationship. Remember, a leader's role is not just to sit in the closed cabins for the whole day. Sit with your team members, help them plan their day, help them in their day to day activities. Leaders must be accessible to their team members. See, problems start when employees find it difficult to get in touch with their bosses. Do keep in touch with them, maybe through emails, through SMS if you cannot meet them regularly. Lend a sympathetic ear to their problems. Your team members must be able to fall back on you at the time of crisis. Intervene immediately in case of conflicts among your subordinates. See, your team members might fight over small issues sometimes, but it is your responsibility to intervene immediately, to guide them, and reduce the chances of a major conflict. Do not ignore even the minor issues. One problem left unattended can become a major concern later. Sit with individuals, counsel them, motivate them to discuss the issues and reach to something which would benefit not only the employees but also the organizations on the whole. Ask your team members to have their lunch together. You can also join them once in a while. Boss presence does make a difference. So take them out for maybe picnics, small get together. Such informal meetings not only bring the employees closer to each other but also to their superiors also. Motivate them to celebrate important festivals at the workplace, delegate responsibilities, ask them to take the charge individually. This way I think they start believing in you and the organization and eventually shares a healthy relationships with all. Employees performing well must be appreciated and suitably rewarded for them to deliver the results every time. Do not be harsh to others who did not perform well this time, because being rude to them will not solve any of their problems. Rather, individuals will go against you. So avoid comparisons among your team members. Always have a supporting attitudes towards the other employees who could not do well once in a while. So in addition to this role of the leader, but yes, of course, on the other side, role of employee also is very important in maintaining those interpersonal relationships. So it is always important for employees to stay positive at the workplace. Do not always find faults in your fellow workers. Remember, no one on the earth is perfect. No matter how bad the other individual is, one needs to maintain the decorum of the workplace. The best way is to ignore the one you do not like rather than indulging in conflicts and spoiling the relationship. Be a little more adjusting. See, things can't always be the way you like. One needs to be a little more compromising at the workplace. Don't expect everything to be done just the way you like it. Listen to others also, understand their point of view as well. Do not see your personal interest always. People working in the teams should be friendlier and adjust with each other. Being flexible at workplace helps. Do not be too rigid. Never ever underestimate your fellow workers. You never know when someone comes up with a brilliant idea. So treat everyone with respect, respect their ideas. Ignoring people leads to frustration, eventually spoils the relationship at the workplace. So listen to all, giving importance to few and sidelining the others. I think that create problems amongst the employees. So such things demotivate employees to give their best. Next one is never be partial to anyone. Employees performing well should be appreciated in front of others. Those who are not performing up to the expectation must be asked to pull up their socks next time, irrespective of the relation they share with you or with the senior management. One of your team members can be your best friend when it comes to the results and the targets. Even he should not be spared. Work should never be mixed with your personal relations. It is unethical to spread rumors around at the workplace. As I earlier said, backbiting, leg pulling, criticism, they are the biggest reasons of displeasure amongst the employees. Learn to be straightforward. If you feel your colleague is doing something wrong, tell him on his face rather than discussing it with somebody else. Making fun of others is, I think, unprofessional. An individual should be trustworthy. If any of your colleagues has confided something in you, do not backstab him. Do not walk up to your boss and reveal all his secrets. Learn to keep the things to yourself. Avoid being arrogant. Don't show unnecessary attitude to the people around. You might be heading a particular department, but that does not mean you have the authority to be rude to people around. You are getting paid for your services. No one will tolerate your dominant and the bossy kind of a nature. Think before you speak. See, make sure you do not hurt people. Never ever insult anyone intentionally. Once again, greet your colleagues, even if he or she is not from your team. It hardly matters. A smile can actually make a difference. So finally, coming to the last slide. See, interpersonal skills may be how about you relate to others, but I tell you, they start with you. Many will be improved dramatically if you work on your own personal skills first. So let us go through some of the interpersonal skills an individual needs to inculcate for a healthy relationship with the co-workers. So always cultivate a positive outlook at your workplace. Do not crib over small things. Do not always find mistakes in others. You will have all kind of people around. Accept the people as they are. Also look at the positive side of an individual. Respect your colleagues. Earlier also, I think I emphasized it is twice or thrice. It is unprofessional to misbehave with your fellow workers. An employee must behave in an acceptable way at the workplace, maintain the decorum of the workplace, because being rude to anybody else spoils the relationship. Remember, the way you behave or you speak, I think that tells a lot about your education, your upbringing, and your family background. So be polite to everyone, irrespective of his or her designation or income. So never say anything which you yourself would not like to listen about you. Be cheerful at the workplace. As I said, smile more often. It really works. Makes your fellow workers feel important. Show how much you care for them. If they have done something for you, do remember to thank them. The good work of employees must be acknowledged and appreciated in front of all. Stand by your colleagues at the time of crisis. Lend a sympathetic ear to their troubles and help them whenever required. Be honest to others. If you any of your colleagues is doing something wrong, tell him on his face. It is better, I said, to be straightforward than spreading the unnecessary rumors about someone at the workplace. Be a patient listener. Listen to what the other person has to say. Understand the other person's point of view as well before jumping to the conclusion, because wrong perceptions of people lead to unnecessary confusion and misunderstanding. Finally, be nice and kind to everyone. Be a source of inspiration for others. Remember, it is you and only you who can make a difference to improve your relationship with others. So behave as a thorough professional. The finally most important, I think, perhaps empathy is the most important soft skill which we can develop for better interpersonal interactions. To have a successful relationship with our loved ones and the society at large, we need to understand and care about other people's needs, desires, emotions, and feelings. Empathy is the ability to identify the other person's emotions. It is the ability to imagine what life is like for another person. So developing empathy allow us to imagine ourselves in the other person's shoes, to respond to others, even to experience others' feelings and emotions. So when we demonstrate empathy, we create connections with others, which can help to build teamwork or the interpersonal relations better. Because without empathy, our communication with others will amount to one-way traffic. We will be acting and behaving according to our own self-interest only and are bound to run into problems. I think the word itself, empathy, says a lot about this skill, that in life, everybody needs somebody at one point or the other. Model and mirror. Project yourself in the way you want other people to behave with you. So treat others the way you want to be treated by others. Put yourself in their shoes and then you come to know where the shoe pinches. Ask if you can help. Have an helping attitude to share your information, your expertise with the others. Treat others the way you want to be treated yourself. Your behavior is hurtful or helpful to others. If you exhibit all these skills, so why means you feel better and they also feel better. So finally, at the end, I will say, please keep in mind the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. Take care of yourself first, your feelings first. It is the only way to ensure healthy relationship with others. We all have been developing our interpersonal skills since childhood, usually subconsciously. However, with the little time and effort, you can further develop these skills, because good interpersonal skills can improve many aspects of your life, both professionally, personally, as well as socially, as they lead to better understanding and better relationship with others. So, with these words, thank you very much for the patient listening.